Hi friends, today I am going to review the book, Maslow on Management, by Abraham H. Maslow, Deborah C. Stevens and Gary Heil. Duty, work and mission for self-actualizing people. Highly actualized people incorporate work into their self-definition. It is part of what makes them what they are. Work can also help people move towards self-actualization. Individual psychotherapy cannot change the world, because many people are unfit for psychotherapy. But applying psychology's discoveries to the economic sphere can make the world different. The healthy organization will need a steady supply of fairly well-matured and well-educated personalities. This is very much saying that a poor society cannot support healthy enterprises in the long run. Management experts, such as Peter Drucker, arrived at conclusions similar to those that psychologists teach, but they used only workplace observations. Management experts have generally rejected psychology as too recondite or abstract for their purposes. But despite its experiments with rats and pigeons, psychology has much to offer these experts. For the psychologist, the industrial context is a great laboratory. Industrial psychology provides a rich new vein of data and can confirm or validate theories developed in a clinical context. Conditions are good today. Therefore, we can use good management principles. Each person has a certain suitable work or calling. It is important to let yourself be chosen, to respond to your own call. When your work is part of you, integral to your selfhood, you can attack the problems of work, and in doing so, attack the problems of self. The hierarchy of needs and management principles. The principles of such theorists as Drucker make sense for highly evolved human beings who have satisfied their lower-order needs and are trying to grow. Yet, they are only effective at the highest level. These concepts work for people who are not anxious or afraid, who do not feel like outsiders, who have good friends and good family lives, who feel they merit respect. But could they possibly work for people who are terrified of unemployment, catastrophic disruption or alienation, who do not respect themselves or feel worthy of respect? Certainly not. Drucker and his peers make an unconscious and spoken assumption about the degree of personal development of both managers and those managed. Tomorrow conditions may be rotten. It will be suicidal if we hang on to good management principles, which are good only under good conditions, which must not be believed to be good for all eternity, for any circumstances. Enlightened management depends on numerous assumptions. 1. That everyone in the plant or company merits trust, is mature, healthy and generally good. 2. That people should be given as much information as possible because they need to know and that knowing is good for them. 3. That all people want to achieve, use time productively, work well and so forth. 4. That the jungle hierarchy does not exist. There are no authoritarians. 5. That everyone in the organization will identify with management's objectives. 6. That all are of good will, not full of rivalry and jealousy. That there is synergy, so the pursuit of self-interest benefits all and the pursuit of common interest benefits self. 7. That the organization itself is psychologically healthy and that people in it are also. That they are not psychopaths, schizophrenics, paranoiacs, addicts or the like. 8. That people can admire and respect truth, beauty and justice, and their selfish egos will not lead them to feel envy or inferiority when the job goes to the best qualified. 9. That people in organizations are not anxious or worried about security and safety. 10. That people want to self-actualize, to try their own ideas, experiment, make mistakes and select their own friends. 11. That everyone derives pleasure and satisfaction from being part of a team or group. 12. That hostility is not a trait of character but rather only occurs for good reason, for example, in response to some present evil. 12. Of course, psychology has shown that some people are hostile as a result of past experiences that can shape character. 13. That people can take pressure, and need and want stretch goals and challenges. 14. That people can improve. 15. That everybody needs esteem, to feel useful, important and successful, and not to feel useless, unimportant and like a failure. 16. That everyone prefers to respect rather despise and to love rather than hate the boss. 17. That people would rather fear the boss than loathe him. 18. That everyone would rather be a leader than a follower, active rather than passive. 18. In fact, many people would rather be dependent. 18. See the Grand Inquisitor's speech in the Brothers Karamazov. 1:9. That people want to make things better, fix what is broken and clean up messes. 20. That growth happens through pleasure at trying new things, getting bored when they're mastered and looking for new pleasure in new challenges. 2:1. That each person wants to be treated as a whole person and not just as a hand, a strong back, a sex object or the like. 22. That people prefer work to idleness. 23. That everyone prefers meaningful work to meaningless work. 24. That people prefer personal identity to anonymity, being valued for uniqueness instead of being treated as a cog among cogs. 25. That people have the courage to proceed with enlightenment. 26. That people are not psychopaths, have consciences, know what it is to feel human and to feel emotions such as shame, sadness, or embarrassment. 27. That people make wise choices that answer their true needs. 27. In fact, the very definition of neurosis could be the inability to make wise choices. 27. Many factors, such as force of habit, led people to make very unwise choices. 28. That everyone wants fair, public appreciation commensurate with his or her deeds. 29. That people would rather love than hate, even though there can be real pleasure in hate. I am dissatisfied with the material on leadership in the management literature. I think again that there's some tendency to be pious about the democratic dogma, rather than using the objective requirements of the situation as the centering point or organizing point for leadership. Goals of management and organizational theory. Management theorists talk a great deal, but they do not make their goals, purposes, and ultimate objectives explicit. In fact, psychotherapy's distant goal is to help people towards self-actualization. This is also what a good society, educational system, enterprise, or organizational theory should do. It's outrageous that management theorists put out books full of pieties and platitudes about human nature but never really talk about values or purposes, except in the most vague, juvenile terms. Few of these theorists have the courage to tackle serious thought or write of ultimate goals. Regressive forces. Enlightened management isn't for everyone or for every time. Anything that causes insecurity, increases anxiety, any scarcity of necessary goods, any bad faith, such as lying or misrepresenting the truth, anything that undermines self-esteem, anything of this sort causes regression and movement away from self-actualization. Such problems spoil the ground for enlightened management. Moreover, enlightened management may actually bring out the worst in some people and some groups of people. Those who are afraid of freedom may react with masochistic, self-defeating responses. The removal of authoritarian management will lead to a period of chaos. Those results may cause some people to pronounce that enlightened management does not work and to demand a return to authoritarianism. Self-esteem at work. People want to be appreciated and valued. They resent being pushed around, handled unfairly, or treated like machines. When organizations treat people without the respect they want, people retaliate. Slaves fight back by pretending to be stupid, by being lazy, by tricking the master, and by laughing at him behind his back. So do industrial workers. Many of the things workers do that make managers angry are done specifically to provoke that reaction, as a way of striking back at dehumanizing treatment. If bosses and their experts were ever treated as workers are, like interchangeable parts or anonymous cogs or slaves, they would launch a revolution. They'd be among the angriest, most violent rebels. Yet they do not understand the anger and violence of the workers they now dominate. Management as an experiment in psychology. The philosophy of theory why management expresses faith in fundamental human goodness. Psychological investigations and industry experience justify trying it, but it is necessary to keep thinking of it as an experiment. Evidence against it leaves room to doubt that it will work, but experimenting with it is worthwhile. Psychologists do not know how much of the population is indelibly authoritarian, how many really want participatory management, how many just do their jobs to earn money so they can do what really interests them. How lazy are people? How honest? Does the woman who has to work to support her children really want to be involved in the enterprise, or is her family her only real interest? No one knows. It is all an experiment. On the other hand, almost no evidence supports Theory X. People persist in following Theory X's authoritarian ways because that's the way things have always been done. I suspect that all these time study people in the scientific management, people in the upper class people in general who expect that the lower class people will accept calmly, quietly, peacefully, and without protest the status of slavery and of anonymity. That these very same bosses put into similar situations would start a revolution or a civil war almost immediately. Moreover, the organization needs healthy, well-balanced people. It cannot use psychologically damaged, criminal, spoiled, or dishonest managers. Therefore, the corporation must help society develop healthy, well-balanced people by creating conditions in which people, because of their good work situation, can themselves be benevolent, charitable, kind, altruistic, in the community. The fact that slaves will revolt if not openly then covertly make me proud of the human species. But I can understand quite well that it would make a slave owner or an exploiter or a dominator get very angry and contemptuous. On one side of a piece of paper, write the characteristics of superior managers. On the other side, write those of inferior managers. R. Leichert's New Patterns in Management makes it clear that your two columns will also give you a general description of psychological health versus psychological disease. The best managers are healthy, and they make the managers they manage healthier. Moreover, the healthier workers are to begin with, the more they benefit from enlightened management and the healthier they grow. Clearly, Theory Y management makes people healthier than Theory X management. Leadership. The war leader is the person everyone thinks best to lead in war. The leader in raising stock is best at that. The war leader might be the lowest follower in the stock raising group. This makes sense because people have different skills and endowments. Moreover, the leader's only power is the power that people voluntarily give him in specific situations. The leader does not impose himself. He is, in effect, the group's servant, the one whom the group asked to provide organization and direction because he is good at that. He may believe himself best for the job, but so does everyone else. I think everyone would agree that the most valuable 100 people to bring into a deteriorating society like, for instance, Peru, would be not 100 chemists, or politicians, or professors, or engineers, but rather 100 entrepreneurs. This is not the American way. In politics or business, the American leader believes himself to be best suited for the job. He fights for the job and gets it because of his skills at campaigning for it. Ironically, this results in the wrong people becoming leaders. The people who get leadership power are often those with a neurotic need for power. The one best suited to lead would be the one who gets no thrill from commanding people, who only took the job because the group came and got him and persuaded him. That kind of leader would be unlikely to abuse the power and perquisites of leadership. Takeaways. 1. Psychologist Abraham H. Maslow wrote a journal in 1962 after a summer at a factory where workers had input into production. 1. This book is drawn from that journal. 2. He taught that enlightened management can only work with psychologically healthy people in a psychologically healthy society. 3. Because an organization can only thrive with psychologically healthy people, it should work in a way that makes it possible for people to be psychologically healthy. 4. When people are insecure, dominated, excluded, and fearful, when their needs for belonging are unmet, they are incapable of growing towards self-actualization. 5. Management theorists make numerous tacit assumptions about the psychological health of people in organizations. 6. They fail to state their ultimate goal or the ultimate purpose of the organization. 7. Theory Y is based on unconvincing data. Theory X is based on established practice, but no evidence. 8. Often exactly the wrong people become leaders, those who want to be leaders. 9. If bosses had to endure the treatment they expect workers to endure, they would riot. 10. Too much management literature is piously democratic and does not face facts, such as the fact that some people have superior abilities. If you enjoy our content and would like to stay updated with our latest videos, please like, share, and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you so much for watching.